Hi everyone, welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio and tonight's YouTube Live. Thank you so much for joining me. If this is your first time here at my YouTube channel, I'd love to welcome you. Thanks for stopping by. And for those of you that are returning, I'm so glad that you're joining me tonight. Just a couple things before we get started. I want to introduce you to Megan. Megan's name is going to be here in blue off to the side during the live chat. I got voice and sound on my iPad and we don't want that. I have it on my desk so I can view your comments. That's going to make it a lot easier for me. But that's one of the reasons why Megan's here. She's here to catch those things that I don't see because my head's going to be down at the stamp table busy stamping. I am super excited about tonight's project. Tonight is episode number 2 in my series on card layouts. Some of you may know them as card sketches. But basically what it is I'm going to give you an idea of where the elements of your card will go to make the layout process easier for you. It's a great way for you to just pull out a stamp set, some ink pads and paper, and just go to town. You don't have to come up with the idea of where things go. So it's just a great idea for you to be able to try at home. I've got 3 card samples for you tonight, one of which I'm going to demonstrate for you, and then I'll share the others with you. So please make sure you hang with me until the end of tonight's live. I'm excited to share those with you. All right, and if you want to chat during the live and you're here with us live, please make sure that you sign into your YouTube account. That would be your Gmail address. That's a YouTube thing, not a Lisa thing. And I do come back and read all the comments after the live is over. Now, when the live is over tonight, Megan and I will come back and we'll put a link down in the video description below along with cutting dimensions so that you're going to be able to find the sketch easily as well as the pictures. It'll take us a few minutes, but we'll have that up for you. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's turn the camera around and let's get you set up for tonight's live. Okay, it's never a pretty view on the way down, but I'm going to zoom you in so you can get a nice good angle here. And I want to try to catch your comments here. All right, we're good. I'm going to bring out a piece of scratch paper. Let me adjust my camera one more time. I want to make sure that you're as straight as you possibly can. This is the small grid sheets. I'm loving these because I'm in a very tight area here in the corner of my stamp studio. But if you're stamping with friends, these are a wonderful thing to use because table space often is at a premium when we're paper crafting. I also carry them in my online store that are 18 inches long. They come in a pad of 100. These are fantastic too for the stamp positioning tool called the Stamparatus. I'm going to start with a small piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I'm actually going to do some stamping on here that's going to end up going on a card layer and on a card base. I'm going to be using this beautiful detailed image, and this is from a stamp set called A Little Lace. You may have seen me use it before in another video, but I am loving the details in this. Now, if you don't like to color, hang with me. You're going to love the idea I'm going to share with you tonight. But I do like to color, and I love using the alcohol Stampin' Blends markers. You may like to watercolor. You might like to use watercolor pencils or colored pencils. Great stamp set for that. But I also want to give you an idea on how to use this without having to color it in. So I'm going to be using that with this image here, and you can see it's rather large. So I've mounted it to my clear block, and I'm going to do that stamping in my Memento black ink. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open this up. Now typically I would ink this way, but because the stamp is rather large, I prefer to put it face up on my work surface. This is going to ensure that I don't miss an area when I'm inking it up, because oftentimes when I'm going the other way, I can't see real good where I'm going, and it sure figures that I miss a corner somewhere. So I'm just inking that up, making sure that I get it really good. And then I'm going to stamp this in the upper corner. Now this is why I've got that grid paper underneath me, is because I want to make sure that any excess is going to fall on there and of course not on my work surface. Now I'm going to do this again. So I'm going to pick up my ink pad here and I'm going to ink that up, tapping it all along the way, making sure I've got good coverage. And then this time I'm going to turn this image and I'm going to turn this around and make it easier for my hand. Oftentimes we want to do this. I call that contortionist stamping. So make it easy on yourself. Turn your paper and not turn your hand. That's just a great tip for you if you're a stamper. Lots of firm, even pressure, because remember, this is a very detailed image. And then I'm going to fill in a little bit. So I'm going to go back to here and I'm going to ink this up one more time. And since I'm not quite sure which end I'm going to use, I'm going to ink the whole thing. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this and I'm going to stamp this inside of here to kind of fill that area. I've got a little bit down here. I don't know. Do you think we can try to squeeze that in? Let's give that a whirl. I'm going to go ahead and ink this end, which is pretty much where I'm going to gravitate from. Well, let's see if I can throw some image in there. Oh, that looks pretty good. Now, another tip for you, especially if you're using black and especially if you're stamping with friends, take that excess ink and stamp it off on your scratch paper. In my case, it's my grid paper. When you go to take this to your Stampin' Chamois or your Stampin' Scrub, it's going to help reduce the amount of times you're going to have to run to the sink to rinse that thing out, because the amount of pigmentation left on the stamp without stamping it off is going to build up on there. And you're going to have to eventually get up, which I hate to do when I'm doing my creative stuff. I like to be able to just sit and stamp. And you're going to have to rinse that out. So I've just done that off camera. I'm going to flip this over so it's not so distracting for you. And I am going to add my image back here. Now I'm bringing in one more stamp set, and I am certain if you're already a paper crafter that you probably have a stamp set with a circle in it. Now keep in mind, even though I'm using a circle, you certainly can use a square, a triangle, an oval. Any solid shape will do. It can be as large or as small as you'd like. So I've pulled out the circle from the Broadway birthday stamp set. Now both of these stamp sets can be found in the current Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you're interested in seeing Stampin' Up! Products, I would be more than happy to send you a complimentary copy. All you have to do is go over to lisasstampstudio.com and click on Contact Me. If you provide me with your full name and mailing address, I'll be happy to get that in the mail to you. So I've got my circle here, and you might be wondering why it looks pink. This is a photopolymer stamp, which means the images are completely clear. The great thing about this is for placement, because when you ink this up, it'll literally turn the color of the ink, which makes it easy to stamp. And you'll see that in just a second. But because some of the darker colors have rich pigmentation in them, you're going to notice that it stains it. It does not impede on the use. So don't let that concern you, thinking that's going to have a factor playing into how it's going to look. Now I'm going to bring you in a little closer with the camera so you can see a little bit better. Slide that down. I'm going to start with Mango Melody. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Now, I've got a confession to make. I had a fight with the refill on this thing last night, and I'm crossing my fingers it's going to behave. It's refill 1, Lisa 0. I kind of was talking on the phone, actually to my mom, and I over-inked it, which is never a good thing. So please keep in mind when you're re-inking your ink pads, don't get too crazy. I do have a video here on YouTube that shows you how to properly re-ink them. And so I'm going to link that down below. Megan made me help with that. So we've got one circle here. I'm going to ink this up. I'm traveling because I want to make sure that I got nice even coverage on here. And then I'm going to add another one here. Lots of firm pressure. You want that nice solid circle. And then I'm going to do that one more time. I want to try to stay within your camera view so you can see. And that is going to go down here in my lower left-hand corner. So I've just kind of separated those. Now, just off camera, remember I mentioned my Stampin' Chamois. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean that and I'm going to dry it. I've got a little rag there. So now it's clean. I'm going to close this up and I'm going to bring in another color. And this time I'm going to use Coastal Cabana. Now, a lot of times people ask me, how do you know what colors go together? Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip. Pull out the color that you gravitate to. So for instance, if you really like red and you want to use red, start pulling out other colors you think might complement it. Now, typically we know black goes with red. We also know that yellow will go with red and blue will go with red, but pull out scraps of cardstock and allow those to help you formulate color concepts that might not be intuitive. So we've got one circle here. I'm going to add another one over here, I think. Let's go ahead and add another here. I want to make sure I've got that good and inked because I'm talking at the same time. And then I'm going to add one more, and this one I'm going to squeeze in down here. All right, I'm leaving room because I'm going to add a third color. I'm going to clean this one more time off camera on my Stampin' Scrub. I'm going to close this up because we're done with this one. And now I'm going to use Poppy Parade. Yes, 3 distinctively different colors. You're going to love the way this is going to turn out when we're finished. So this is good and clean. I've dried it to make sure I don't bring any moisture into my ink pad. I'm going to ink this up in the Poppy Parade. I like to travel, make sure I've got good even coverage, and then I'm going to place one of those images here. Nice strong color. I'm going to put another one up here. And do you see how I'm varying this? Do you also see how the circles are hanging outside the circumference of the cardstock? That's really important if you're trying to create that wallpaper effect, which is what I'm trying to do here. And you know what? I'm going to squeeze one more way down in here. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to take off all that excess ink. That's going to save me trips to rinsing out my scrub or my chamois. And then we're going to close this up. So here is a perfect example of what you can do to add some color to an outline image without coloring it in. This is a great tip because, believe it or not, I have already started to make Christmas cards. I know you're probably shrieking, but we start early as paper crafters because, I don't know about your case, I've got to make over 100 cards. And a lot of the images I like are outline images. And while my immediate family will probably get them colored in, not everyone will. So I found ways that I could add color to those images without having to color them in. So this is just a good tip for you. All right, I'm going to set that off to the side. And what I'm going to do now is bring in my silicone craft sheet here. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit so you'll have a little bit better view. There we go. And I'm going to add that to the bottom of a layer. This is Coastal Cabana. Now I'm going to go over the sizes with you in just a second. My silicone craft sheet is probably one of my very favorite tools in my stamp studio. And the reason is adhesive, liquid glue, and hot glue will not stick to it because of the silicone surface. It's great for keeping that work surface that you're going to work under sticky free. Because I don't know about you, but I get too close to the edges sometimes, and then it ends up on here, and I'm fighting that sticky spot all along the way. So I'm going to go ahead and mount this right here at the very bottom of that Coastal Cabana. I'm mirroring up the bottom and the sides the very best that I can, and then I'll press that in place. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to add a strip of cardstock here. In this case, I chose the black. And the reason is I wanted to bring out that black outline image because the other colors were so predominant. So I'm going to do the exact same thing here. I'm going to add adhesive to the back. And this is where the silicone craft sheet, you can just see the magic of this, because anything that I go over the edges on, and trust me, I do, is going to fall right on top of there and not on my table. And then I'm going to butt this up right against here. And then I'm going to push that in place. Okay, well, confession time. How many of you have done this? Look at this. Do you see it? No matter how careful we are, I think we can all attest that from time to time, we have cut our cardstock, literally, it could be 1/8 of an inch or 1/32 of an inch off. Don't fret, especially if you've got a layer. Flip it over and use this cardstock as a guide to cut away your excess. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here. Another tip for you is a pair of scissors that you can dedicate in your stamp area or your paper crafting area strictly for these messy, sticky jobs, because obviously that had adhesive on it. And that's going to cut it away. There's nothing worse than when this edge is a little bit too short and then you can see the layer through it. So you're better off making it a little bit longer and then trimming it. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a small sliver of Whisper White cardstock. And from that same A Little Lace stamp set, I have pulled out the greeting that says, just a little note to say hello. Love the fonts in here as well. The mixed fonts are lots and lots of fun. Now my head is far away because I'm standing because I'm filming. So I'm going to attempt to get this as straight as possible. I'm going to ink this up. It just fits. And then I'm going to stamp this right in the center today. Let's see how we're going to do. Let's see. Well, not too bad. I got lucky. All right, I'm going to close that up. Typically at my age, my head has to be a whole lot closer. Is there anyone there with me that can completely relate? I've got a piece I'm going to attach this to, and that's going to be this black. So I'm going to flip that greeting over. I'm going to add adhesive to the back. Again, my silicone craft sheet, one of my favorite tools. And then this is going to go right down the center of here. Now, I've got variations for you with this exact same layout that I'm going to share with you in just a second. And again, look at that. Do you see? We got a little bit right there. That might not bug you, but that bugs me because I want to make sure that the layers on my card are nice and straight. All right, and then the base of my card is going to be Whisper White. Just before you joined me, I scored it in half, so I'm going to fold it. I'm a big fan of my bone folder. So if you've watched my videos before, you know how I love to use this bone folder for that nice crisp edge on my cards. And then this is going to get mounted to here. So I'm going to flip this over again. I'm going to add adhesive in my 4 corners. I'm going to be a little bit more generous. I love this adhesive runner. This makes my life so easy. 472 inches is completely refillable, super, super simple. And then this is going to go here. You're going to see I left kind of a sizable white border all the way around on this card. And then I'm going to press that in place. Another tip for you. If you've been stamping a lot, you'll probably have ink here, which is what I do. So I'm going to go ahead and flip that over so that if I happen to have ink on my fingers or my hands, it won't transfer for the front of my cards. I can tell you how many cards I've ruined by doing this. That is for sure. Okay, so here is the card. Now I'm going to show you the sketch first. So here it is. I blew it up nice and big. Let me just zoom you out a little bit further so you can see it a little bit better. Hold on. There we go. All right, so the base of the card is 5.5 by 8.5. Keep in mind these are cutting dimensions. So this is 5.5 by 8.5, and of course you're going to fold it to make your card base. This piece here, the Coastal Cabana, is the 5 by 3 3/4. So that's that piece. This piece here is this one, the 2.5 by 3 3/4, and there's that strip of the black. Now I added another strip to here. Why not, right? If you wanted to, I could have embossed my greeting right on top of that black cardstock and not added another layer. All I did was make this slightly smaller than this. So my white is 1/2 inch by the exact same 3 3/4. The one thing a card sketch or a card layout is so fabulous for is all you have to do is choose the stamps, the colors, and the paper, and you can go to town. This can be replaced with anything. And let me give you some more examples. I've got 2 other samples for you here. This one is for all my purple lovers. Here we go. This one uses the stamp set that is called Friend Like You. And I have used Highland Heather, and this is Blueberry Bushel. Interesting color combination, but very striking with that white. Did you notice the sequins on here? These come from the Gingham Gala sequin assortment. They already have blue dots on the back, which makes this lots and lots of fun. And then that stamp set includes those little small dragonflies. Exact same layout. Do you see it? And then finally, I have this one. This one uses the stamp set called Here's a Card. Now keep in mind, all of these products are in that catalog I shared with you and over at lisastampstudio.com. I embossed the greeting in here in copper. And do you see this? This copper designer element actually comes in a package that has copper, silver, and gold. This mosaic designer series paper, I wish you were here to feel it. Can you see it's kind of shiny? It's a specialty paper and it feels a lot like tile. It is super, super cool. Very different look for each one of these cards, but the exact same sketch, the exact same layout. Now the picture that I have on my blog is going to include this exact same card I just made for you. I'm pulling off my sample here. Bear with me one second. I'm reaching for it. And I added sequins to it. Do you see how I've added those here? You can use your fine tip glue. I like to use these. I'm going to put in a little plug for these. Oops, sorry, that was my bone folder. I'm going to put in a plug for these glue dots. These are from the Paper Pumpkin Kit. And I love them because they are flat. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip about using glue dots with sequins if you're like me and you're often impatient with glue, which means sometimes you put too much or sometimes you put too little, or in other words, it doesn't dry fast enough and you want to be able to pick the card up. So I brought the sequins out here. The sequins that I used on this card, on this sample, are from the Iridescent Sequin Assortment. Lots and lots of colors and various sizes, which is going to be great for your card making. So you can go ahead and pick out the ones that you want. Yes, I did pick them out because I used my Take Your Pick tool. This makes my life so easy. So I already did that ahead of time. I've got a couple here. I'm actually just going to attach one of them here at the top so you can see. The putty tip picks up the sequin for me, makes it super simple. I'm going to lay it where I want it. So typically I lay all my sequins out first before I started hearing them. Otherwise I end up changing my mind. That's another great tip. So let me show you how these work. They're already double-sided. I'm going to use the paper piercing tool attachment that comes with my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to lay this here and I'm going to pull, and then I'm going to pop off that paper backing, and then I'm going to take that putty tip and I'm going to stick that right on top. Now, you're probably wondering, how do you get these? Well, you get them in here. This is Paper Pumpkin. Paper Pumpkin is a monthly craft subscription through lisastampstudio.com. The box comes to your home every single month, and I love that it's a surprise. We kind of get a little teaser every month on what it's going to be. But inside, you're going to find picture instructions. You don't have to read anything. You got to love that. You're automatically going to get a stamp set every single month that's photopolymer, so it's great for beginners. You're going to get an ink spot, which is identical to these and a much smaller version, which makes this great portable. If you're traveling this summer with the kids, or you've got a kid going off to college, this is a great travel pack. Inside are all the pre-cut supplies to make the project. Super simple, and I love that Stampin' Up! Gives us everything, including the sequins, the twine, the ribbon. Everything that you need is inside this box. $22 includes the shipping and everything you see here. You're going to collect stamp sets every single month. Those sets you cannot purchase. They are not available in my online store. They're only part of the kit. You can cancel or suspend your monthly subscription at any time that you choose. And here's the best part. My Paper Pumpkin subscribers automatically get a tutorial around the first of every single month with alternate ideas on how to use the contents of that month's kit. And I love sending it to them. If you're interested in Paper Pumpkin, you can find more information over at lisastampstudio.com. So that's a little bit about those glue dots that I've used. Obviously, the ones that come on the roll are quite popular. They're a little bit larger, but that's going to give you just a tip on how to adhere them. Love my Take Your Pick tool. This interchangeable dial actually has a spatula on there. You can see it's well used. I get up underneath those little areas of dimensionals that I put down by accident. It also comes with a double-sided stylus tool, so you can change that out, and it comes with a putty refill. And then there's a protector cap for both the top and the bottom in case you're transporting it to a friend's or to a crop. But that's the sketch for tonight. I guess I'll put the prettier card here. Do you notice too how I centered this one and I moved this one up a little bit? Remember, a sketch is just supposed to be an idea of where the elements on your card go, and the possibilities are endless. Let me turn the camera around. Oh, now I can see your comments a little bit better. Thanks, Megan, for all the hard work. Couple things I want to go over with you. If you are thinking, wow, there's a lot of great products, you're right. And now is a great time for you to build what we're calling a custom starter kit. This is going to give you the opportunity to choose $155. That's $155 of product of your choice from any of our catalogs, and you're only going to pay a reduced price of $99. That kit ships absolutely for free to your home. You'll only pay local sales tax, but here is the beauty of what we're calling the extra custom starter kit. It's going to give you the ability to shop clear through the end of 2019. That's all the way through December. I don't know about you, but this time of year with holiday crafting coming up is the busiest time for crafters, and it's the time we tend to buy more products. You're going to be able to use that 20% discount all through the end of the year. In addition to that, you're going to actually be able to use it for another month through January of 2020 as well. Now, there's more information about this over on my website at lisastampstudio.com. But the best part about this promotion starter kit right now is that Stampin' Up! Added $30 more product than we normally would get. Normally it's $125, but now you're going to get $155. Now, I've got a flyer here. You'll be able to find this under the specials under my blog all the way at the bottom. But basically what you're going to be able to do is build your own kit. You can purchase anything that you want totaling $155, paying a reduced price of $99, shopping at a 20% demonstrator discount clear until the end of December, and there is no obligation. If you decide you don't want to buy another thing, you don't have to. You don't have to hold an event. You don't have to do a video. You don't have to do a workshop. You don't have to teach others. In fact, most of the stampers on my team are hobby paper crafters. I welcome them all. I even have some that like to dabble to be able to share stamping with others so that they can earn a small income to maybe pay off a car or put a child through school. The great thing about the starter kit is you're able to customize it. And If you purchase the starter kit between now and the end of August, that would be 2019, you're going to automatically receive a $10 bonus coupon to use in the following month. So if you bought your kit in July, you'll get the $10 coupon by email to be able to use in August. If you bought your kit in August, you'll have the coupon to use in September. And speaking of coupons, I don't know about you, but I'm all about savings. So I want to let you know that we're right in the middle of bonus days. So for every $50 products that you order, you're automatically going to receive a $5 bonus coupon code to use in August. Again, all those details are underneath the specials tab on my website at lisastampstudio.com. If you've enjoyed tonight's video, please do me a favor. Would you give it a thumbs up here on YouTube? It makes them and I both very happy. Share it with your crafty friends. These layouts are all part of a very large series that I'm doing here on YouTube. I have tons more to share with you through the upcoming weeks. I also want to let you know that I will be back live right here on YouTube. I'm looking at my calendar on Wednesday, August 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when you head over to my website, please make sure you sign up for my free e-newsletter, where I share a free tutorial with you that's not shared on any of my other platforms. Thank you so much, Megan, for all your hard work tonight. And thank you for joining me. I hope you guys will have a great rest of your week. Bye-bye.